Long ago, the great Frith made the world. He made all the stars, and the world lived among the stars. Frith made all the animals and birds, and at first made them all the same. Now among the animals was Elachera, the Prince of Rabbits.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
My child he's a little twat.
Like, could you guys imagine, like, the Happy Meal toys for Watership Down?
I think where all of our point is that the bird sucks. Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheap Seat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
For the greater good. And I did that with a little nose twitch and a smell into the air.
Okay.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Did you stomp your foot too? Your little thumper there?
I scratched my ear and then I stomped.
Oh,
so
good.
Yeah.
How delightful.
Yeah. I know,
He
right?
did use his one crazy eye though.
the one good eye. Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, that's great. This is episode 393, and tonight we're talking about Watership Down, the 1978 animated classic adventure of rabbits and violence and stuff. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew. Victory without mating is no victory at all. Jimison.
I would like to object formally.
Okay.
That's all.
Oh, you're just objecting to the movie, the podcast, me?
Well,
World.
definitely the movie. But we'll talk about that later. And that statement, I think there has to be mating involved too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't object. You actually agree.
Yeah, you agree with them.
Oh, did I mishear? I'm sorry.
Yeah, victory.
Yeah.
Andrew, victory without mating is no victory at all.
Oh, yes. Okay, then I withdraw objection.
Okay.
I feel like Amber Heard's attorney.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeez.
snap. How topical.
Very topical. If you're listening to this 6 months from now, you have no idea what that means.
Oh, they'll drag it out 6 months.
Oh,
You wait.
Oh, a year? Sam,
Yes.
this movie explains so much about you. Vector.
Am I not right? Oh, but Sean.
Yeah.
Sean,
Yeah.
If you were small enough, I would certainly lead a dog to you at some point and watch it maim your body.
Okay.
So
That's fine.
just so you know, yeah, I might even do that with a regular sized dog and regular sized Sean. So I'll kite the dog to you.
Yeah,
and then-
I'm pretty sure your actual dog would rip me in half.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think she would. I mean, she chewed a hose in half. So
yeah.
what she would do
I'm
to
trying. Yeah. You know what you didn't see is there was a little, almost like a voodoo doll of Sean, attached to the hose, so that's what I'm training her on. So.
Well, Sam, our attempts to, burn Sean at the stake over some rocks this past weekend didn't work out.
Yeah.
So.
Listeners, Sean celebrated his 40th recently. Happy birthday!
Thank you.
And we all took a guy's trip up into the mountains, and Sean decided to make an explosion with hamburger grease, and subsequent explosion resulted in him falling down the mountain or into some rocks, basically. So
That's the most lovely redneck thing I've heard all day.
Yeah. I fell down, I don't know, it was a few feet. I mean, it wasn't like it was down the mountain. It was a few feet, but it was still in between a bunch of rocks, and I was bleeding, and I'm still very sore from it. And the first thing I said was, after all the F-bombs, I said was, Andrew, did you save the burgers?
God, I miss the Carolinas. God, I miss them.
I nearly shat myself because I couldn't see anything from the fireball that was exploding in my face. So
It was a
it
Michael
was
Bay
fun.
produced event.
Yeah, he would have been impressed. He really would have. Who is that other voice? I'm sure you probably recognize him by now, and that is Stephen. Why is a seagull from England Russian? From the Obscurity Now podcast.
Oh man, that's a great question, and it wasn't even a good accent either, if I dare say so myself. Oh, and by the way, Watership Down, more like Watership Up, the most uplifting talking animal film I think I've ever seen.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about this
Oh,
movie.
I hear some sarcasm in that voice a bit.
Huh?
So we'll
What?
see. Yeah.
That's that California wit that he's gained over the years.
Whoa. Hey, I am a Southerner first and foremost.
Yeah,
Thank
you've
you very
been,
much.
you've been there too long is your problem.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. So, 1978's Watership Down, the animated feature based on the book of the same name, directed by some people. I'll tell you in just a moment. I need to get there's an ad on IMDb. I don't care.
Martin Rosen,
Yes. Martin
John
Rosen.
Hubley.
Yeah, John Hubley. So John Hubley was the original director. And
Oh, would he kill himself and then leave the project?
well, what actually happened
Man,
is
this is
that,
so depressing. I just need to get off of this thing.
So what actually happened is that he was submitting basically dailies, which is the you know, hey, this is what I've done so far, and the studio hated the art direction and the animation style, and so they fired him basically, and they brought in. So the only
This is what they settled on, huh?
yeah. So what?
What was it like? Sticks?
No,
And,
it's
you
the
know,
intro. That intro scene that I played the clip of. That's his
Oh,
animation
right.
style.
Okay.
See, but I thought that was one of the better parts of the movie. I enjoyed the hippie, you know, cocaine high type of stuff that they were doing in parts.
Yeah, that was the original. I mean, I don't know if I could have stood this whole movie in that style, but that's
No.
what it looked. That's what it was. And so they bring in this other Martin Rosen to finish out the film.
Wow.
yeah, the beginning section kind of reminded me a little bit of a Christmas classic, like Frosty.
Yeah, it did feel like that. I mean, were you guys asking yourself why that was even there? Because, like, I feel like we could have still, like, gotten the rest of the movie without those opening, sequences.
I almost feel like, you know how you get the ads for those games that don't really exist, and you click on it and it's just another version of
I've never clicked on it, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, that's what I felt like happened. Like I got gaslighted here.
I mean, it sort of came back around at the end of the film, but at the same time, I'm like, okay.
I really think we needed to be introduced to how many things are trying to kill these rabbits.
Right.
And I think that is maybe, the whole premise behind it is, we're entering a world where danger is around every corner.
I mean, it's basically the real world, more or less, wouldn't you say?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Well, and it's there.
For sure.
I actually really liked it for the intro, for the idea that it's giving us their creation story.
Yeah.
So that the movie is telling us really early on, hey, these rabbits have their own creation story, and they have their own beliefs and faith and hierarchy. Like, oh, we're actually getting some kind of it's more than just this is why rabbits are the way they are. It's also a tale of why rabbits believe the things that they do, and I think it also really helps you realize that they use words that are different than our words, which I think is cool. Like, they don't call a fox a fox. They don't call they call a dog and a cat, but a fox is something else. And there was a couple of other different words that they use. Like, they didn't know what a train was, and cars have a different name. And I kind of liked that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't dislike it. There was just, I was just like, okay, this is here. But when you look at it the way you just explain it to me, I can understand it a little bit better now.
Sure. Well, okay. So this was Sam's film. So this entire month, we have been doing films that we all watched in the movie theater our first viewing experience, we started with the fun and lovable Dick Tracy with Andrew. Oh,
That's
man,
awesome.
That feels so long ago, by the way.
It does.
I don't know why. That felt so long ago. And then we did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 the next week, which does not hold up and is
A
kind
letdown. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Aw.
I had so much fun with Dick Tracy, and I did not have a good time with Teenage Mutant Turtles 2.
Not a Vanilla Ice fan, huh?
It's not that. It's
No.
just that everything else about the movie is bad.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, honestly, the Vanilla Ice part I didn't care about. I was so apathetic by the time Vanilla Ice showed up. I just, okay, whatever.
I can see that.
And then last week we had special guest on, Lady Juan, to discuss The Little Mermaid, which was her first film in the theater. And so we saved this gem for last, which of course was Sam's first film in the theater.
Yes, thank you, Mom and Dad. I appreciate you for this one, for sure.
I still think that they knew what this was, and they were trying to just, say, all right, we want him to never want to see movies.
Are your parents like pseudo or super intellectuals or something, or like big time like movie buffs, and they were just like,
not at all. I think they saw, it's a cute rabbit cartoon.
I see.
Let's bring little infant Sam to this thing. And
so you were how old exactly?
I was probably 2, 3.
Oh wow! And you remember? I
remember it. Yeah, I remember. See, I remember all the worst parts though.
Well,
Right.
yeah,
That's why,
burned into your brain.
Right, leading up into this point. I mean, I remember the fight in the burrow and the blood everywhere on that, and I thought, in my memory, the whole movie was like that. So it was different this time around for sure.
I need to start being a better dad. That's all.
Yeah, so this was my first movie going experience, and no wonder I'm traumatized. So no wonder I don't like. I stay away from horror movies, and have stayed away for so long. So yeah,
I've seen the poster for this that's on IMDb. If you search Watership Down, it's the poster that's kind of associated. I'd seen that before and never realized that is a snare around the rabbit's neck in the movie.
Right.
For some reason I thought it was like a weed in the grass. It just happened to be a little bit.
Man,
no, that's what that is. It's just a piece of straw or something. It doesn't go all the way around his neck.
Well, that's because its fur is covering it.
It's just like a piece of barley or something. No. It's not. He's not being killed in the poster. It does, however, it is pretty.
I think he is.
It's pretty gnarly that it says on the poster, "All of the world will be your enemy, prince of 1,000 enemies, and they will catch you and they will kill you. But first, they must catch you."
Wow.
That's on the poster.
Does that not sound like a horror movie tagline though?
It does.
It does, and I mean, it just makes me wonder, like the pitch meeting that went down for this film. Like,
this is based on a book.
Right. I get that, but
which is based on a story that a father told his children in the backseat of a car.
No, the other way. The boy the boy was making up the story, and then they were like, "Hey."
Oh, I read that wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's right. Well, maybe you read it right, and I read it wrong. Anyway, the kids were like, "Hey, you should write this down." Maybe you're right, Sam. I can't remember. But the guy just invented this thing is what wrote the story.
Right. Yeah, I see he's right here. Richard Adams. He's one of the regular screenwriters and wrote the novel as well. Was the book just a success, and the the movie people were just like, we got to cash in on that sweet Watership Down money while we can.
Success is a weird word, it made money, from what I can tell here on Wikipedia, but I don't think that, this isn't like Lord of the Rings or, Animal Farm or something,
Right. I guess British people are just into some dark and depressing stuff, I guess.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to
I do not dispute that for sure.
I think that what it is, since my heritage is very much Scottish and Irish, I just think that it's a very British Irish way of celebrating life. It's
Oh man, if they could have seen you keep that straight face as you delivered that, they would have cracked up just like we did.
Okay, so Sam, you're right. So the story begins as Richard Adams himself. He was telling his daughters on long car rides. You're right. I misread that as the kids were reading, telling the story, and then he wrote it into a thing. But yeah, he would just make stuff up, and they were like, "Oh, tell us about the violent rabbits, Dad." And so,
how did they die again?
Yeah,
give me the grisly details.
Yeah, how much blood was pouring out of the rabbit's mouth as he was being choked by the snare?
Now, what would be interesting would be because obviously none of us have read the book, and if anyone that's listening has read the book, I'd be interesting to know how violent the book is compared to, like, is that a directorial choice to make the movie super violent? Or is that how the book is? You know, because, like, I mean, even Lord of the Rings is violent, but, like, they didn't depict it super violent in the movies. They probably could have. I mean, the one thing they get away with is that they make orc blood black, so it doesn't look as scary.
Right.
You know what I want to see is the stage play, because this was adapted for a stage play.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
And I want to know, do they have like red streamers that they throw out up there?
Did you see how long the stage play lasted?
Yeah, just a month.
1 month.
Well, I also saw while I was trying to find a version of this to watch that there was a TV miniseries that just came out, like, I don't know, early 2000s
Netflix.
or something.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was HBO Go or HBO Now or whatever.
No, Netflix has it because I was
Yeah.
worried you guys were going to accidentally watch that one
the wrong
instead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 4-part or 5-part series. That's got like James McAvoy and some other, well-named actors and actresses. I'm not gonna lie, we haven't really talked about how we really feel about this movie, honestly, yet. But I kind of want to watch that series, honestly.
Well, and see what's different, right? Just see how they do it.
Yeah, I kind of want to see it.
I just want to see how Sir Ian McKellen will pull off as one of the voices, if he's in there. I don't know.
I don't know. Let's see. Watership Down. I don't want to get too far onto that show.
Right.
Let's see. James McAvoy is Hazel. One of the criticisms of it is that the animation is a little weird.
Janky.
Yeah. John Boyega as Bigwig. Nicholas Hoult. He was the guy what played the Beast in the young X-Men movies.
Right.
Oh, okay.
As Fiver. Sir Bing Kingsley as Woundwort.
Oh, wow.
Tom Wilkinson. Peter Capaldi. Olivia Colman. Good gracious.
So this is definitely, this is all British all the time. I mean, this is, you could tell from even just that this must be a beloved British thing.
Yeah.
So.
Taron Egerton is in this too. Edgerton, excuse me. I like him.
Wow, I'm really surprised Ian McKellen wasn't in it.
Right?
How dare I presume?
Oh, that guy, I can't pronounce his last name. Daniel Kaluuya.
Kaluuya?
He was he was in Get Out and he was in Black Panther. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yes, all of the British people are here in that film. So
Every one of them.
Every one of them. Anyway, so this movie, Watership Down, let's talk. Wait, there's another one? There's another Watership Down? There is.
Watership Down 2 Electric Boogaloo.
So there was a TV series from 99 to 2001. It's just called Watership Down. The adventures of a warren of rabbits as they struggle to develop their new home and protect it from the various threats they face. And this was for 39 episodes.
My gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, none of these actors I've ever heard of. But my gosh, how many of this? There's so many versions of this thing. That's crazy.
You just can't stop Watership Down. It's a timeless tale.
I mean, I guess.
It
is.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so let's do our 5-word review. Sam, you're up first.
Oh, wow. Totally forgot about that. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
I've got 2 here. The first one is nightmare-inducing kitty horror.
By kitty, you mean Kidy, right? Not kitty, like cats.
Yeah, kitty as in kids.
Okay.
And then my second one, I think we've kind of talked about it already, is how did this get made? I don't know. Is it our American sensitivities? I don't know what's going on here, but this movie is just off the wall, boring in some parts, and then horrific in others. And I just don't understand what the pitch meeting was like. It has to be some sort of British ideal that they like this thing. I don't like it, and it's not because I mean, maybe it's because I've been traumatized as a child, but I had a hard time sitting through this movie, and I'd been sick this week as well, so that might have been part of it. But I had a really, really rotten time with this thing, and I could care less about some of these folks. I thought the story and the way they transitioned was really kind of off. It felt like it just didn't work right. And I didn't like it, guys. And I'm having a hard time kind of wrapping my brain around it, and I'm hoping you guys can help me out a little bit with that. But it's just, I don't think it's all there.
Yeah, I know how the pitch meeting went now that you brought that up.
Yeah?
Went a little something like this. By Jove, my child he's a little twat. I don't know how to get him. I don't know how to get him to behave. What shall we do? Well, I think that perhaps if we show him a movie about death and really scare the shit out of them, they'll behave for the rest of their lives. And that is why British people are so well-mannered.
Oh, they're afraid of the
go.
cat and the
Manners
dog.
maketh the man.
Yeah,
I
the
learned that
owl.
from the movie.
Have you ever met a little brat of a British kid? No, of course you haven't.
I've never met a British kid, so I guess no.
Yeah, well, and it's all boils down to, can this be made today? And that's why I'm so interested in seeing the Netflix thing, to see how far they go. They marketed this thing towards kids, right? That's why my parents brought me, is because it was a kid film. So
Was this released in theaters here, Sam?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh. I'm glad I
Right?
wasn't alive when that happened.
Yeah. So
Wait, hold on. That math doesn't make sense.
what's that?
This movie came out in 1978. You're not that much older than me.
No, I was born in 1978.
Right.
But you have to understand that theaters in Minnesota are they're kind of like the Germany of the United States.
Yeah.
We're not quite a decade behind, but it takes a while for things to get.
You could have gone to like a art
Midwest.
house theater that was showing it or something.
It might have been like a dollar theater or something that was doing a thing.
Knowing my parents, that's probably what it was.
Okay.
So. Knowing my parents, they probably just dropped me off and then just put me in a seat and then left and went and had dinner or something. So.
Well, I wonder about the release date in the United States. I know the release date says November 1st, 1978, but was that the British release?
No, that's the U.S. one. Yeah. So the London premiere was October 19th, and then it premiered in the U.S. November 1st.
Wow.
So.
Yep.
That's so funny. So like the release, so then December 20th in France, and then January 19th in Brazil, and 23rd in Ireland. Like it was a month and a half later before Ireland could watch it from across the the whatever there. Let's see. The last people to get it was Malaysia, December 17th, 1980. No, I'm sorry. Spain. How did I miss this? Spain got it in 1984. So, there you go.
Yeah, I'm just glad I wasn't around.
All right.
I was still in two parts.
You hadn't been mixed yet? Mixed and shaken?
No.
Stirred? Okay. Steven.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I had this a second ago. Realistic, but to a fault. And I think that's why the film sort of comes off confusing and boring. And it's like too real, man. We're especially used to, Looney Tunes and Disney over here. And I mean, I don't understand why they had to be just regular looking rabbits. Like they didn't give like, they all looked the same unless you were in a different tribe. Then I guess you looked like your little rabbit tribe or whatever. So it was really hard to tell them apart. Like all the voices were done just like straight, like no character acting or anything like that. It was all,
except maybe the crazy rabbit, the Fiver or whatever it was.
Right, and the bird.
Yeah. Oh God, the bird. I didn't even mention the bird.
Yeah, but other than that, everything was just real straight and narrow, all stiff upper lip and all that. And yeah, it just makes you wonder, who is this for? Because the violence doesn't really bother me. It's just pen and ink. Like I don't care, whatever. I saw RoboCop at a very young age, so I'm highly desensitized. And I never even saw this film until like a couple of years ago. I think it popped up in a Facebook room that I was in or something. Yeah, and I watched it then, and I pretty much feel the same then that I do now. That I guess for the time, I mean, I respect it as far as 2D animation goes. It looks good, and they have some like interesting choices, but overall, like the color choice and the super realistic depictions of the animals and the voice acting is all just so bland. It's like, is this for adults? Is it for kids? And in the end, I feel like it's really not for anyone. Like I know my kid wouldn't sit through this. I mean, I had a hard time sitting through it. I do respect that, they wanted to lay down some harsh truths on, I guess, the viewer, whether it be a child or an adult, because the world is a very, it's a dangerous place, like whether you want to admit it or not. But they did it in a not very entertaining way. And then, animation, it's not cheap. So, I mean, I just wonder, like, what the bottom line was, if they were just, again, like counting that sweet Watership Down money. Like, could you guys imagine like the Happy Meal toys for Watership Down? Like,
yeah, the bunnies with the battle damage. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the action figures, or the, I mean, I guess you could make, plush, little plushies, and then when you squeeze it like, but yeah, I mean, overall, I guess I respect its like, harsh truths, and the fact that it's 2D animation. I guess as a student of animation and filmmaking, but as just a regular viewer of movies, it's found it to be pretty boring.
All right. Interesting. Andrew.
All right. Well, first of all, I have to say that had I not known anything else about it, I would have thought this movie was like an allegory for life in South Compton in 1990.
Right.
It's like gang violence and the ghetto life of rabbits. Stephen has already said, it just didn't do much for me as a movie at all. It was confusing in places, like you said. It just, a lot of it didn't make sense, the way that they go from one section of the movie to another. The animation, which I know it's 1978, but we just watched The Little Mermaid, which came out almost 10 years later ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we talked about how bad the animation was in that film with certain things, but 10 years earlier it was far worse. Now this does scream British production, and it does scream it reminds me of the animated version of The Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Ralph Bakshi one.
Yeah. As far as the animation style is concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. And which, if we're talking about animation that holds up, I don't know that it does. But do I have respect for the film itself as far as how it was done for that time? Sure. But my 5-word review, I didn't actually say it. So I have two. Most violent cartoon ever made, and the stuff nightmares are made of.
Right.
If I were to show this to my 8-year-old son, he would not sleep. Like I know him. He would not sleep thinking about dead rabbits.
Well, the worst one for me was the choking, was in the trap, right?
Yeah,
by far.
bad.
And I mean, it's just like, holy crap! I can't believe they had that in this.
Not only that, but then they show the gassing, the gas chamber.
Yeah.
Right.
Of them suffocating. Yeah.
Yeah. And would an elementary school kid get that? Maybe, I don't know. But as an adult, I think that's, it's terrible. It's a terrible way.
A lot to handle.
As I was watching this movie, I thought about how people always say that serial killers start off by killing animals. And then those people start off by writing books about killing animals. I just...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I couldn't, my rule, if a movie keeps my focus, it's at least worth watching. This one, I had a hard time.
Okay.
Just staying focused. Yeah. No, I had a hard time just keeping up. I think because of what's already been said, that it just was confusing and not entertaining, other than the fact, unless you're one of those people that just loves to watch gore. And those people are out there, and to each his own.
Yeah.
So
that's very true. I'm looking. I did a Google search for popular animated movies from the 70s, so we can kind of like compare some of the other films of the time. Now it's unfair. I think it's a little unfair to compare this to other Disney films because it's Disney, but like Robin Hood, like that animation looks great. It's that was 1973 and it holds up. Or the animation from Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, which again, the cartoon parts, like,
right.
Again, that's I don't know if that's Disney money. Again, not really fair.
Well, you could throw Heavy Metal into that mix, which I think came out late 70s, early 80s. Are you guys familiar with that one?
I'm not. I don't see it on the list here, but I believe you.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's very adult, though.
Sister Christian, right?
What's up?
Sorry, it's a bad joke.
They had the animation style reminded me. My wife makes the kids watch the Halloween tree every year, and I can't stand it. I really can't stand it.
I don't think I know what that is.
Charlie Brown, right?
No. It's
I don't.
What did you say this was?
It's called the Halloween tree.
Oh.
Halloween tree.
Oh, your poor kids.
All I have to do is Google the Halloween. All right, so it came out in '93. Leonard Nimoy is one of the characters. Ray Bradbury is the narrator. It just I hate it. I really do. But like,
are these movies that just traumatize children? Is that?
No, because my kids have watched it. It's fine. But like Ray Bradbury describes one small American town's preparations for Halloween night. 4 friends are shown their respective homes donning costumes excitedly. Basically, the idea is like it's giving these kids, they get to go. They fly back in time to see why certain parts of the thing happen the way they do. Anyway, this is like a made for Saturday afternoon special. The animation is garbage. Is what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Even the fact that Leonard Nimoy is one of the voices doesn't save it for me.
He was just looking for a paycheck.
Yeah, he needed something to do between Trek films. So my 5-word review. All right, here we go. Monty Python Rabbits gets revenge. That was my funny one. My other one was Perilous Adventure to Find Freedom.
Yeah.
So for the last basically 3 years, when Sam said that was the movie that I watched first, and I Googled it and saw some of the imagery, I'm like, oh my God, Sam, what is, like, I'm so sorry for you. And ever since then, I've had this thought in my head that this was like this crazy, violent, like whatever, like horror film animated, right?
Oh, so I gave you weird expectations.
And then,
for
like,
this thing.
even our Ebony, who was supposed to be our guest this week, not her fault. Thank you, Stephen, for jumping in. It was
Sure.
scheduling error on my part. She was like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to pay for my therapy when I'm done watching this film because it's like the most depressing thing ever." So like this whole movie, I'm expecting for everyone to die, right? Even Sam, you even told me, just remember, Sean, rabbits are at the bottom of the food chain. So like I'm going into this film thinking that this is going to be like a movie where everyone dies and the bad guys win, and but that's just the way life is.
Yeah.
So the movie starts off literally telling you that this one rabbit was kind of a dick, and therefore God cursed him to be the bottom of the food chain, right? I mean, that's kind of what the thing is, right?
Yeah.
And so the movie starts, and we're going along, and I'm like, okay, well, there's like a dictatorship thing happening there, and he's the boss because he's the biggest and he's the strongest rabbit. And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then this other group of rabbits decide to leave, and this one rabbit decides to come with them, who's also was part of the leadership, and then decides to go with them, Bigwig.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, is this going to be like
Inside Man.
No. Actually, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought it was at first. I thought he was gonna like betray them, and then eventually
Mm-hmm.
he realized no, he's like one of the coolest characters in the movie. And so when, like again, he's a cool character, so he must die horribly.
Right.
And John Hurt is is good voice acting by John Hurt, and then you have his brother Fiver, who is kind of crazy. I'm like, oh. Well, definitely Fiver's got to get et by something, right? Because he's weak and small and crazy. So I'm not going to care about this character. So I'm just going to, just guard myself. And then like one in the journey, one gets et by the owl or the hawk.
Eagle or the owl.
Yeah, right. I'm like, okay, this is how it's going to be, right? This is a adventure story where they get slowly picked off one at a time. Like in like any kind of like Jurassic Park or those kind of movies.
The Gray, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where nature slowly picks you off one at a time. So I kept waiting for these moments, and then I just kept waiting for these moments, and then they get to that one warren where Cowlip, I think is his name, Cowslip,
Cal Lipton Jr.
and it was a baseball reference, and he right. Anyway, he's like super creepy and weird, and like they're all like, "Hey, this is weird," but there's food in the thing, and then there's snare, and I'm like, "Oh no, Bigwig's gonna die!" No, he's okay. It's a little gross, but he's okay.
And see, in my mind, I had completely forgotten all that. I thought Bigwig died in that snare. I thought one of the rabbits died on the highway when the car went by.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why my memory kept that, or my mind kept that in my memory. Yeah, but I just remember. I remember the worst, right?
Yeah. So, because the majority of the deaths of the rabbits is off camera, right? A couple of rabbits get killed by the train off camera. Bigwig, being the fastest, runs that fox into the forest, and he accidentally ran into a patrol of that other warren, and they got all eaten up, and he was unscathed, again, off camera. So as the movie's going along, I'm like, okay. And then they get to the place. They find the promised land. And then they're like, hey, we don't have any women, so we can't do what rabbits do.
Mm.
And so then they meet that stupid bird. And
which is the worst part of this whole movie.
He kind of
really
is. Like,
yeah.
Like I think it felt like, okay, I didn't look it up. It felt like they were trying to play on that. And again, the bird is from the book. So I don't know which came first, but it reminded me of the seagull or the albatross, whatever he is, from
Aladdin, Little Mermaid.
No, the Rescuers.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, but at least you liked that guy,
right? He's clumsy and funny and silly, and it's like pratfall humor. Whereas this is he's just annoying, and I don't.
Yeah, there's no comedic relief in this film, at all.
Yeah, I mean, correct. There is zero fun in this film at all, and almost.
But he's supposed to be. That's the problem. He's supposed to be the comic relief, and he can't keep a freaking accent to save his life in this movie.
Well, that's an interesting phrase because that actor died after this film.
Oh,
This was his last movie. Oh, way to go, Sam. I think that's right. Let's see. His name was Zero Mostel. Mostel. Let's see. Yeah, Watership Down was his last film.
Yeah, well, sorry, bud.
It's fine. I don't think the movie killed him, but well, maybe it did. He died right after.
It's called Karma.
Yeah, right after. He was 62 years old, but he was American. He wasn't Russian. He was an American dude.
You don't say.
I know, right?
So, Sean,
Yeah.
The Rescuers came out in 1977.
Right. Yeah. And-
Oh,
movie
so
did.
that's what they were trying to.
Well, we don't know
so
that.
they're attempting to throw in a likable sort of
But
a
see,
comedy
again,
relief,
Remember,
but
based on a book. Like, I don't know when the book came out.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
well, we also don't know though if they wanted to take the bird from the book and make it more like the seagull from
So the
Rescuers.
book was published in November of 72. So I still think that even the character, the bird, is probably still trying to be in the book, probably some kind of comic relief.
Yeah.
Because that was, I mean, you think of other movies of the time, or before then, and there's probably something there. I don't know, but my point is that I think where all of our point is that the bird sucks, but he's unnecessary.
well said, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I actually didn't hate this movie.
What?
I
Wow.
didn't hate this movie. There were parts that I actually kind of found enjoyable parts. This is definitely a movie where the sum of the whole is not as good as the parts. I liked the intro. I actually did like the intro.
Well, I think I agree with you there. I did like the intro as well.
I liked
It was at the beginning, right?
yeah. I liked the kind of the peril of the farm, and that Hazel. I like my heroes to be clever and smart, and Hazel is that. He embodies that. And I also like that we have three villains in this movie, right? We've got the first villain, who's the first boss. I forgot his name, the first boss, and he's barely there, and he just sucks. And then like he's just too stupid to see whatever and dies. And then you have Cowslip, who is just there to let these bunnies get snared so that his Warren doesn't get snared. Just sucks. And then you have the last one, who is just straight up. He's basically like a Hitler archetype. I mean, I'm not going to let you leave. I don't want you, but I'm not going to let you leave either, because I want to remain powerful. And he is powerful because of intimidation, and because he's the leader, because he's the strongest, which is why the scene at the end when he's fighting Bigwig, and Bigwig's like, my chief told me to defend the whatever. And he's like, wait, you're not the chief? Like, that was actually a cool moment in the movie, because that's when he realized that he's not, like, he was assumed that the chief would be the strongest. And in this case, the chief was the smartest, which I thought was really clever. So there's some really cleverness in the movie, which I'm going to give credit to the book for. But the three of you are 100% right. The animation is janky. There are times where I'm confused at what's happening.
Yeah.
That animation style I think is just annoying. And it would have been kind of neat to see if a Disney, and again, Disney would never produce this, but like a studio of that quality, of that ilk,
Don Bluth, perhaps.
Yeah, Don. Yeah, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Bluth or Bluth, one of those.
Yeah, if he can get his hands on this, a decade later. Yeah, because this kind of has a Secret of the Nim vibe to it.
Yeah. I was definitely getting that vibe in fact, I pretty much compared Watership Down to Secret of Nim the whole time. Secret of Nim is just so much more enjoyable.
It is.
But I definitely agree with you. I mean, I like the allegory in the writing. It's just the execution as a film, just kind of a snooze fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It was funny because when I told my wife what this was going to be, she said, no, I don't want any part of it. And I said, that's fine. So I watched this in my office by myself. And so I'm messaging her like, okay, one bunny down. Oh, there goes the second one. Oh no, he lived. Like I'm giving her like, play-by-play updates. And she's like, yeah, I'm really glad I didn't watch it. But
also what you said, how Sam built it up for you, like you thought this was just going to be a depressing bloodbath, like when you watched it, and then would you say you were disappointed when it wasn't?
No, I'm actually glad that it wasn't, because it's like when you're watching a horror film and you're waiting for the jump scare, and then the jump scare never comes, and so you're almost relieved.
Right.
It was kind of like that. Like I got done with this movie and I walked downstairs and my wife goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was fine."
The same thing happened to me. Like when I watched this movie, like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, I guess I had a friend, much like Sam, who saw it when he was a young lad. And he was just like, oh man, it's the worst thing ever. Like, and I think I ended up actually watching it with him. And then like the dog part came at the end and I was just like, that's it. It's like, he's just killing all the bad guys. Like it's a good thing that dog was there. Like, so yeah, I'm definitely on kind of the same level with you as far as viewing this film. And I don't know, I just wonder if I would have seen it when I was a young lad, if I would feel differently about it.
Yeah, probably.
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would. You're right. I think the time and place are make a huge difference. I mean, again, if I would have watched this a week after watching The Secret of NIMH, I probably would really hate this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I watched The Secret of NIMH dozens of times as a kid. I really enjoyed that movie. And yeah, it's a little dark and the owl is creepy. And when spoiler alert for a 40-year-old movie, but when Nicodemus dies, like that's really sad.
Yeah.
Like I cared
because
way
you
more.
care about the characters.
You care about those characters. I didn't care
it's a great
about
book.
Almost any of these characters.
Same here.
Except Bigwig and Hazel are the only two kind of interesting characters. I mean, I honestly wanted the bird to get killed. No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
If it would have
See,
been
and that's why I said this movie is realistic to a fault, because like you can't even tell the characters apart for them, so you don't even care what happens to them.
Yeah.
Basically,
you have to go by the shade of the brown. Like the you know what I'm saying? Like,
but even that would change, though. I mean, it's
Yeah, that was for me. That was probably the most confusing thing, because I didn't know which rabbit I was looking at until they spoke, and then even at times they kind of sound the same.
well,
like,
yeah,
put a hat and tie on them. Come on, Hanna-Barbera this thing up.
yeah. Basically, like it's John Hurt, and then there's the rest, because we've all listened to John Hurt talk for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like he's Mr. Ollivander. He's the bad guy from V for Vendetta. Like we've seen him in 100 films, so we know his voice very well.
Right.
So when he talked, like, yeah, that's John Mother effing Hurt there. But other than Bigwig, I was confused. Other than because there's only 2 females in the movie, which the book takes grief for. I was doing some research. This book takes a lot of grief for the fact that women do nothing except produce babies. That's all they're for. And I think to your point, Stephen, about this movie, the book probably being too realistic and the movie being too realistic, because that's probably what the men rabbits think of women. You are there to mate with. Like do female rabbits have agency? Probably not. So yes, this movie and book aren't woke, but they weren't supposed to be. And this is not me defending it. I'm just saying it's a product of its time. And
Sure.
It was a different time.
It was a different time. I don't have that queued up.
Well, the movies back then took more risks, I think.
Yes,
Right.
they did.
Once they started slapping age-appropriate listings on them or notifications, I don't know what you call those, ratings.
Ratings, yeah.
I think we really started to see the lessening of taking risks on these.
Yeah, it's only gotten worse as time's gone on.
I saw an article
almost to the point of blandness.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
I saw something today, literally today, that was it Saudi Arabia, something like that, is threatening to ban Doctor Strange 2 because there is one line of dialogue where one of the characters uses the phrase "my mom's," and they want it cut from the film, and Disney's not going to do it. They're not going to cut the film, that line. And so Saudi Arabia is threatening to whatever. And it's like, well, I guess kind of good on you, Disney, for I guess taking a stance. But where was that backbone when you were looking for because on
Chinese money?
Yeah, the Chinese money with the Doctor Strange 1, right? Because when they cast Tilda Swinton to be the Ancient One, she's supposed to be a Tibetan monk, but you can't have that if you want that China money.
Right, or where was your backbone when they took like John Boyega off the poster of Star Wars, or put the mask on Black Panther? Like, it's just corporate flimflammery.
Wait, they took John Boyega off poster?
Well, they shrunk him. Like to where, they just put him in the background basically. So, they didn't have how, they have the big heads and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess in the US he was a lot bigger. But in China, he's way in the background.
Oh, because I guess, okay. I mean, I don't think we're going to offend it in China, but like, is it because they don't like black men? I mean, is that what it is? Or
I guess they're just a little bit racist.
Oh, okay. Well,
is there such a thing as a little bit?
Yeah.
I think it's either you are or you're not.
Well, I was quoting Avenue Q. There's a song in there called "Everyone's a Little bit racist." Yeah.
You're right, Sam. It's like either you're pregnant or you're not. It's,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we need to say about the film before I do a few clips?
Prepare yourselves.
Okay. Prepare yourself. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So I got a few clips here, not a lot. 7, I guess. Okay. Again, I just like the intro dialogue, and I like this line here.
Digger, listener, runner, prince with the swift warning. Be cunning and full of tricks, and your people will never be destroyed.
There you go.
By the way, the oboe player had to have gotten a bonus on this.
Now,
this show.
I will say that is one thing that I actually did enjoy about the movie was the music.
Pretty good.
Because English countryside feeling. I mean, it was.
Yeah. The music was, as I was sitting there, I thought, this is the best part of everything that's going on right now is this music.
It was the most beautiful thing, where everything else was so bland. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Angela, her name is Angela Morley, who did this. She's done a lot of work, a lot of TV stuff. Let's see. Let's see. I'll start at the top. Dallas. She did a bunch of episodes of Dallas, and Falcon Crest, and Dynasty, and something called Hotel. She did a movie called Threesome. That sounds kind of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. She did 3 episodes of Wonder Woman, the TV series. And of course this and a bunch of other stuff. So, I mean, yeah, she did some work. You're right, Andrew. In fact, I actually captured some of the music later on in our clips here because it reminded me of something else. And that's but at the time that this would have, like, if this movie came out in 78, that means you're working on it in 1976, right? Sure. 75. Even if she doesn't write the score until the animation is completely done, I don't think that what I'm going to assert is accurate, but we'll find out. Brace yourselves. This is a loud noise, okay? This noise made me about pee myself. Okay, here you go. Just again, here's a warning. Maybe bump down your phone a couple bits. Okay, here it is. Ugh. So that's the rat sound.
The rats.
Mm.
Yeah.
Why were we so bad at sounds like that back then? It's like the lightning from the Little Mermaid. Like, why were we bad at that? Ugh. Okay. Time for a little social commentary.
They just destroyed the Warren because we were in their way.
They'll never rest until they've spoiled the earth.
There you go. People are the bad guys. We got it. Okay. I did like this line here.
Captain, get this miserable group back to their marks. I'll settle with you myself, Bigwig. There's no need to take you back.
Come on and try, you crack-brained slave driver.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that is good.
That's a cool bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to fight you, even though you have the high ground. I'm going to fight you. And, of course, we had Seagull Ex Machina show up. We had a lot of that, right? There was Train Ex Machina. You had Fox Ex Machina. And then the end of the movie is Dog Ex Machina. I mean...
Although they kited that
They
dog,
did kite the dog. That was the plan. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this then? How about Human Ex Machina? Because that cat is about to eat Hazel, and then...
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that cat was huge, right? Like, I have a cat. If my cat saw a rabbit, she would run away. Because
I thought, by the way, Sean, that was something you would pick out. The voice of the rabbit sounds like nothing else in this movie.
You mean the cat?
Like recording wise. I'm sorry,
the cat,
the voice of the cat. Yeah.
Yeah, I caught on that too.
I didn't. It also weirded me out that the cat's mouth didn't move when it talked. Like everything else did, but the cat didn't. Like the cat was talking telepathically to the rabbit. Like the dog didn't talk either; it just barked. So, like some animals are anthropomorphized. I have a hard time with that word, but some, some aren't. All right. Here's a little bit of the bird.
Where are chicks? Mate, make eggs. Me sit on eggs. Hatch eggs. Many eggs. We feed chick.
I didn't want to.
It's so bad.
It's like it can't make up its mind what it wants to go with. Because at first it kind of sounds Southern Texas, and then I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
It morphs into something else.
It's very weird. I mean, the dude was.
It's like when Sean tries to do accents.
Yeah.
It starts one.
It all goes to German.
It goes to hell.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a little bit of that music I was playing, and when I heard this, all I could think of was, Let's see if you guys pick up on it. That remind you
definitely
of
Mars. Yeah.
A little bit of Mars. That's probably what they were going for. It 100% reminds me of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna
say that. Yeah. The Han and Chewie are about to take off from the Death Star after deactivating the tractor beam.
It was the style at the time.
But they came out right after each other. There's no way she heard Star Wars and went, "Ooh, I'll copy that." Like, it's not possible. Right. So I give her a pass. But as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds like Star Wars."
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this part earlier.
My chiefs told me to defend this run. Your chief.
Yeah, there you go. Your chief. I wrote also here real quick. Last thing in my notes is that Clifton Jones, who played Black something, I can't think of his name. Anyway, Blackavar, Blackavar. He's our Star Trek connection. He was in a couple episodes of TNG. So there's almost always one.
We have that on our podcast too. The Star Trek connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your Theme Park Legends podcast?
No, not on that. On Obscurity Now,
when
we look at old and forgotten movies and TV, usually, and my friend, and co-host is a big-time Trekkie, and he always somehow finds a connection.
Nice. That's awesome. Now I want to partake. Okay. Before we get to trivia, This segment is brought to you by...
Hey Bubblies, I'm Jen, and I'd like to invite you to my bubble. My streaming bubble, that is. And it's the podcast where I talk about the shows that I love with the people I tolerate. Every week, I tolerate a friend so we can obsess over our favorite streamable contributions to pop culture entertainment. So join us every Sunday on a podcast player near you, and keep streaming. Bye!
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
So, for the last 2 months, we've been playing a really fun game called Did You Notice? We are not doing that today because, frankly, it was hard for Andrew to create a game based on this movie. So we're just gonna do something nice and simple and just read some of the trivia about the movie. We'll come back next week with the game, but it was basically like, how many scars did that one rabbit take, or how many radishes did they eat before Bigwig got eaten or whatever.
How many rabbits got murdered in the end?
Yeah.
How many rabbits were in the gas chamber there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got some trivia for you instead. So Watership Down is a real place located in the south of Newbury, or as they would say, Newbury. This is the first animated movie to be presented in Dolby Stereo in theaters, which I thought was kind of cool, especially with the good music that we've just talked about.
The good music being drowned out by the rat sounds and the bird.
Right. There is a cut of this film that is 70 minutes, which we didn't talk about the length of this. This is an hour and a half?
Hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah. There is a cut that's about 70 minutes used for TV broadcasts, VHS and DVD releases in some cases. And that cut is often rated TV 14. So that trivia goes along with this next bit of trivia. The British Board of Film is still receiving complaints about this movie 4 decades after its release due to the board's decision to classify it as suitable for all ages. And so I find it odd that there's a cut that's 70 minutes. So they've obviously cut some things out that is TV 14. Yet the original is suitable for all ages, I guess. So
people were hard back then.
I don't know enough about it, but has there ever? Maybe this is a question we could ask. But has there ever been a movie that has been released and then they've said, "Oh, all right, maybe we should change the rating on this"? Has that happened before?
I mean, we know that in the 80s, because of like movies like Temple of Doom and whatnot, that they created PG-13.
Right. It was created, though, for those movies at the time. Like, I can remember seeing some John Candy movies when I was younger that were rated PG that really should have been rated PG-13 or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the weird thing about, I guess, film boards or the MPAAs. Like, it's all based on like the people who were in that room at the time and what like they find offensive. There's no, from what I understand, there's no like clear-cut rules. I mean, aside from, when it comes to like swearing and whatnot.
Yeah.
I guess animated blood is a whole different world that people don't know how to classify.
Yeah. Maybe so.
It's interesting. Because, I mean, even here in America, I'm trying to find out, is this, I mean, what, like, our MPAA lists this as PG also, right? Yeah.
Right, and that's because in America, animation is for kids, like, no matter what.
Yeah.
This is a PG
Well,
film.
and there are those people out there, like my mom, when I was growing up, didn't want me to play any video games that had blood in it. And so if it had blood of any kind, even though it was, animated blood, I wasn't allowed to play that game. But there were also some of my friends, whose parents let them play that game, and I would, go to their house and I'd say, my mom doesn't let me play this. And the parents would say, well, it's just animated blood. It's not real. Yeah, so I think there are people that are certainly on either side of it. And some people might watch this film and go, "Oh, it's just animation, whatever."
Right.
But then there's people like me that my child would have nightmares.
Sure. I mean, I think in this case, let's pretend that it's the 90s. You see this sitting in a Blockbuster or your local mom and pop video in the kids section. If your parents rented it, yours, and popped it in, they wouldn't see the blood until it's too late, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't even say on the box, caution, animated blood. So.
Yeah, you're right. What are we doing? Oh, was that it, Andrew?
That was it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks for that.
It wasn't much, but
no, that's fine. We don't need a
there
lot.
you go.
By the way, I thought about this as we were, as I was finishing up before trivia. So we have a trope or a movie thing that we refer to as the hopping man, though it's kind of funny because these are rabbits. But the hopping man is a character in a movie that we have associated with when the movie introduces us to a character, and then we have no resolution for that character. They just disappear. Go all the way back to episode 12 or something when we watched
Reservoir Dogs.
Darkman.
Oh, that's right, Darkman.
Yeah, Darkman.
I get those two confused for some reason. There's a couple scenes that are similar.
So, do we ever have any kind of resolution on Fiver? Like, he's in the burrow and he's wigging out because he can see the impending death. He sees what would trigger. I guess that he sees the dog coming, and that they're all going to die. The bad rabbits are going to die. But then, like, we don't see him cowering. We don't see, like I'm saying, like, the only thing that I know for sure is that Bigwig fights the bad guy, and then Hazel grows old and dies. I don't know what happened to Fiver. Like, so I kind of think he's our hopping man, hopping rabbit.
No pun intended.
Probably went into rabbit show business. He became Bugs Bunny. There you go.
Yeah. And also, okay, again, like, some people have commented on Twitter, like, this is the most depressing film. Again, none of the main characters die. And the fact that Hazel dies at the end, but it's like he dies of having old age, having a great life, and when he sees the black rabbit comes, he greets him as a friend. Like, it's that whole thing where, like in Harry Potter, when like he hid from death for so long, and then when he was ready to, he greeted death as a friend or something. Like, I didn't find that. I found that actually kind of sweet. He got to live his life in his place, and there was his little bunnies were over there, and he's talking to the sun, or he's talking to death, and he's like, "Hey, they're gonna be fine. You guys are good. You've done your job as chief."
What I think it is oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
What I think it is this: people just aren't used to like death and harsh truths in their talking animal cartoons. So when they sit down and watch this, assuming they don't know anything about it, it just takes them, especially if they see it at a young age, then I guess it just really like hits hard and sticks with them. And then they live the rest of their life going, that's the most depressing film I've ever seen. But, if you watch it when you're 35, like I did, like, I've seen way worse. Like, Road, that's the most depressing film I've seen, I think.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, The Road. We watched that for the show. That is a depressing film.
This is nothing compared to The Road.
No.
And I'm trying to think of animation. Like, Bambi's mom getting shot, like, probably hit harder than this film did to me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes of Up is way more depressing than this movie. I'm just saying. Yeah, no, you're right. Gosh, The Road. Yeah, I forgot about The Road. That movie, like Requiem for a Dream. Like, that movie gave me bad dreams. Like, there's a lot of other things that I've seen. Anyway, I don't know. I don't want to discredit or discount your emotions. If you're listening to this and like, there's no way I could watch this because it's depressing. I get you. I do. I understand that. Just for me,
absolutely.
There is a lot of death, though. It may not be the main characters, like you said, and there are some like happily ever afters of this movie.
Right, I get.
But it's still there's a lot of death.
Is Saving Private Ryan a depressing film?
Well, I mean, any war movie can be depressing for some people.
Right. For some, but you know what I'm saying? Like, Saving
It's got
Private
a pretty
Ryan,
schmaltzy ending, so
it's the same ending as this.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. It ends on an up note. Like, I've watched plenty of like indie films that they just end with like sometimes with no resolution, and you're just left with an empty feeling. So, I mean, they at least had an ending.
Yeah. Yeah, well, again, the book obviously had to have some kind of ending. Apparently, the author also wrote a sequel, basically, with more adventures of the Warren, putting greater emphasis on the women because of all the criticism he took.
I just don't like women. Is there anything wrong with that?
As he said to his 2 daughters in the car.
Right.
Okay, so anyway, again, like I said, if you're listening and you find this movie super depressing, I'm sorry, I guess, or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to discredit you. I'm saying, for me, I mean, again, it's not a happy thing. Like, I want to go watch something fun now to kind of, cleanse my palate of it. But
you mentioned Requiem for a Dream. You should know.
Yeah, I should definitely go. No. In fact, I haven't watched anything since I watched this last night. So at some point, I'll watch something joyful and it'll be fun. Yeah. All right. We've done that. Time for, I guess we'll do this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
By the way, Stephen, you'll appreciate this. So many times we have a game that we have a segment that I refer to as
What?
And that's the segment where I don't understand what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I had closed captioning on this movie the whole time, and my God, did I need it, because especially a lot of the words that are made up for other things, like, wait a minute, what I'm reading and what I'm hearing are not the same thing.
Right.
And that happened a lot in this movie. And so I was really thankful for closed captioning. All right. Anyway, time for top 3. We're going to do our top 3 now. And this episode, top 3 is non-Disney animated films. Now, maybe we're going to probably have some crossover there, and that's fine, but we'll just go from there. Stephen, we'll let you go first. Having not heard from Sam in a while, we're assuming that he's elsewhere. So, Stephen?
All right. Well, I already meant, I feel like I want to go towards sort of like the time when this came out. And I already mentioned heavy metal. That's like probably sort of the first adult-oriented animated film that I've ever seen. I mean, it's basically, and it came out in the, I think, 70s, early 80s, definitely sort of catering to the Dungeons and Dragons crowd and the, midnight movie crowd. And I highly recommend it since you guys haven't seen it.
Okay.
Am I supposed to give the other 2 now?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Okay.
you're fine.
And then also we already mentioned Ralph Bakshi. Wizards is a good one. If you're really looking for like 70s and 80s animation, I don't know what was going on in the 70s. People were just like, we really got to make some weird adult like animation. Wizards is one of those. I guess kind of in the same realm as heavy metal. And I feel bad because I feel like I'm about to take someone else's movie, but I got to go ahead and mention All Dogs Go to Heaven. It's one of my favorite non-Disney films of all time, and I love Don Bluth as well.
Cool. Yeah. All right. I will go next because that's the way we go. So my number 3, I did Secret of NIMH. Good.
Nice.
I haven't seen it in years. I mean, it's probably been 20 years, maybe more, since I've seen it. Now, 20 would suggest that I was 20 years old when I watched it. So, doing that quick math. So it's probably been close to 25 to 30 years since I've seen that movie. I mean, I was a kid the last time I watched it. And
wow.
Yeah. So, maybe we need to throw in some more of this type of animation in our podcasting, watching stuff. My number 2 is The Iron Giant.
Good one.
I love The Iron Giant. In fact, we watched it not that long ago with the kids. It was one of those nights where I said, "Hey, let's watch something, guys. You guys pick. Nothing new. Let's just because I think like Friday we watched Ron's Gone Wrong, and so Saturday I'm like, hey, we did a new one last night, so let's do something we've already seen tonight. We can just kind of chill with the." And so my daughter goes over and picks up the Blu-ray of Beauty and the Beast, and then my son's holding the DVD of The Iron Giant, and my daughter goes, "Oh no, let's watch that instead." So we watched The Iron Giant.
Nice.
Yeah, but also my daughter, if brother wants to watch it, then that's what she wants to watch. She's just a people pleaser. And my number one, Fievel Goes West, an American Tale.
Yeah.
Fievel Goes West.
I've never actually seen that one.
Oh, it's so good.
Have you seen the first one?
Yeah, I think I saw that one in the theater, actually.
So as the first one's kind of Don Bluth, whatever. Very kind of dark, a little scary. The Mouse of Minsk actually scared me as a kid. So
me too.
Imagine, take all of the dark from that and then 180 it. That's what Fievel Goes West is. It is light and fun and jokey. Like, there are no stakes at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it feels like at any given moment in American Tale that Fievel could be eaten by something. You know what I'm saying? Like like that mouse is constantly in peril. But in the second one, he's constantly in peril, but you never feel like he's actually in peril.
I
So
gotcha.
I mean, John Cleese is the bad guy.
Nice.
Okay, like that's where we are. And James Horner did the score, and it's so good. It's such a fun thing. So
I'll have to check it out.
Go watch Fievel Goes West.
Later. Okay.
Yeah, not right now. Just Andrew.
All right. Number 3, I have Rock-a-Doodle.
Oh, I've never seen that one either.
Really? I hate that movie so much.
It looks so dumb. I'm sorry.
It's
just
a
from
terrible
the outside.
movie. But I was kind of forced to watch it as a kid, and I don't think I've ever seen it since then. But Rock-a-Doodle has a special place in my heart.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And number 2, I have this is kind of a newer film, but Rio.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then number 1, I have The Prince of Egypt.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh man, I saw that one in the theater too. That's a good one.
Excellent music in that one as well.
Awesome.
I wanted to say Land Before Time.
I was wondering if someone was going to mention that.
I was going to make that an honorable mention, but I hate Land Before Time so much. You talk about a movie that depressed a child. Even as a little kid watching it, I remember going to my great aunt's house, and it's like the only movie she had, and it was a VHS, and she would pop that in, and it just was awful.
At least it wasn't like Watership Down, right?
I would beg to let the kids watch Hee Haw because it was more entertaining than Land Before Time.
One of those funny photoshopped. I don't know if it was real. It was on one of those websites that you take with a grain of salt, but like it had that movie, and the tagline was, "You can't prove that it didn't happen," or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Or something like that. I can't remember. There was another one though. I do remember that it was like a Christian, like one of these crazy alt-right Christian groups was like, this movie proves that Satan is real or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but I remember reading it going, what is happening here? But anyway,
it's funny.
Okay. The Twitter, I did throw out on Twitter, and we have a little bit of response. So I did a top 3. Most people just kind of commented on the movie itself instead of top 3. So Jesse from the Open Pike podcast, as well as Sudden but Inevitable, make sure I say it right. He gave me Akira, Princess Mononoke.
Mononoke.
Yeah. and The Hobbit, 1977. So thank you, Jesse.
Those are good choices.
And then pretty much everyone else just said, Chris from Measuring the Score said, saddest movie ever. Ebony, who was supposed to be our guest tonight, says, depressing as F. Let's see. Oh, you commented, Steven. I can't wait to review this hilarious talking animal movie. At It Goes Down in the PM, which I guested on her show not that long ago, and that episode just came out. And apparently she took one of the moments I was talking about and she clipped it out as a promo where I go on this rant about how Ewoks are cannibals. So if you want to listen to my take on Ewoks and how they're cannibals and they're savage beasts that wanted to eat Han, Luke, and Leia, or not Leia, Han, Luke, and Chewie, go listen to It Goes Down in the PM.
Do you not like Ewoks?
I love Ewoks. I loved Return of the Jedi. I don't remember the context. We recorded that episode, 2.5 months ago. So I don't remember the context. I just remember that we talked about it. Because again, she put that on Twitter recently and I was like, oh, hey, that's the thing that I said. So I don't.
I mean, you can like them. You don't have to agree with everything they do.
Oh, I mean, I don't care. They're savage little.
So you're endorsing cannibalism, is what you're saying?
Well, I guess it's not cannibalism because they're not eating each other.
Yeah, because they're not eating
people.
other Ewoks.
So I'm just messing with you.
No, you can mess all you want, but yeah, they're not. They're eating people, so they're obviously omnivores. Is the point?
Right.
They like them some meat. Because I did make the joke, like at the end, when they're drumming on all of those stormtrooper helmets, like I make the comment, they ate those heads, like they ate good for a while. Is what I'm saying.
Cute little Ewok! Ow, my finger.
Yeah, exactly. And TV's Travis says, watched it for the first time last year. It's really good. It's rough at times and pulls no punches, but a really good story and film. So. TV's Travis, you and I think, are on the same page, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would use the word really good, but I think it's
good for the time. Good for the time.
Yeah, I do think that. I think of the time, it is good.
There's a lot of depressing stuff in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just got a message from Sam. He is out for the rest of the night, which is fine. So we will just trudge on, the three of us, and the show's basically over at this point anyway. And I do this.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
This is where we do our top 10. Not top 10, our out of 10. We're not doing a top 10. That's not a new segment. Out of 10.
That's Letterman.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Sam what his out of 10 score is. Steven.
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's like I want to like it more than I do.
You want a baseline? Let me tell you what IMDb says.
I mean, I can give my own. I don't want to have it, spoiled by IMDb or anything. And just so I'm clear, 10 is the highest.
Yeah.
Or 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go with a 4. I think I can only appreciate this on an academic level. I mean, I couldn't even really. I could only recommend it to someone else who was like, hey, I really want to see some non-Disney animation from the late 70s, early 80s. And then I could be like, hey, well, you want to check out Watership Down. And especially if they were, British, I could probably that would probably just be icing on the cake. I'm like, have I got a film for you? That and Plague Dogs. You guys ever hear of Plague Dogs?
Mm-hmm.
Only because on IMDb, when it recommends other films, that's a film it recommends.
It's actually much better, but just as depressing. I would say more so. Maybe if you guys want to revisit that, I'd be happy to come back. But anyway,
it's the same director.
What's up?
Martin Rosen's the same director as this.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
The animation is very similar.
Yeah. 2 dogs escape from a laboratory and are hunted as possible carriers of the bubonic plague.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah, that does sound depressing.
What is up with the British and depressing animation?
Oh my gosh, John Hurt is one of the main characters.
It's like, I grew up on Danger Mouse. That wasn't depressing. Come on.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick by my 4. I'm going to give it a 4.
It's also a Richard Adams novel.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, this guy's got some issues. Well, had he's long since passed away. Yeah,
he wasn't around to write a book about swine flu.
He was 96 years
or
old.
COVID.
Or COVID.
Yeah. Okay. Sam just gave me his number. I'll tell you here in just a second. Andrew.
Well, Stephen, now that you gave yours, I'm gonna go ahead and say that IMDb puts this at a 7.6.
Wow. Okay.
Out of 10. I cannot go that high, nor shall I. Like I said, it didn't keep my attention. There's in my opinion, a lot of issues, and it is just I don't like it. I don't like it. Plain and simple.
No, sir. I don't like it.
So I'm gonna give this about a 2.3 out of 10.
All right. Sam also did not like this movie. He gave it a 3.51.
The guy who submitted it. Wow.
Well, again, it's It's just his. He didn't have much of a choice by the rules that we were abiding by in this case.
Sure.
Because at one point I was like, what was your second movie?
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, when you were asking people what their first movie experience was, I was like, well, should I tell them the real one or just go with Masters of the Universe, which is a little less controversial.
What was your first one?
Song of the South.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that. There's nothing controversial about it. It's not like you went in there and watched it and was like, yes, I agree with all of the things in this. Like,
hey, I don't have a problem with it. It's Disney who has a problem with it, not me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a product of its time. It is what it is. If Disney wants to try to wipe it under the rug, whatever. But it is what it is. I mean, if it offends you, fine.
Don't watch it.
Then don't watch it. That's okay. Masters of the Universe. I think that's an interesting. That's a fun film. We reviewed that not that long ago. Also, well, I say not that long ago. I think it was like episode 100 or something. But
the movie that bankrupted Canon.
Canon Camera.
Canon Films.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the production company. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah, Stephen, before we go, I just want to take a moment to mention all the little things behind you there. Mm-hmm. I see you have a Dick Tracy figurine, and I had that same figurine when I was a kid.
As did I. Yeah, I found it at a flea market, Pasadena flea market. I'll just go ahead and promote them for no reason. Yeah, there's a prune face as well.
I think I had Dick Tracy and Flat Top were the two that I had. So
my brother was given Big Boss, so I got to be the good guy. He was the bad guy. So
yeah, nice.
And what you invoked?
Go ahead. That was my first movie there. So
I saw that. I wish that would have been my first movie, but I did see it in the cinema back in the day, and it definitely affected me greatly in a positive way because it's a great movie.
I had way more fun with it than I thought I was going to. I really did. You invoked the name. I have to play this. There you go. Again, a movie where the score is kind of better than the film.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that music. And Frank Langella, it's like, man, what are you doing here?
I know.
Did you have a boat payment to make?
It was so good.
So I'm gonna give this movie again. I kind of liked this movie. I weirdly liked it, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm looking back at the scores of the other movies that we've done, and I can't, in good conscience, give this thing anywhere near what I did for The Little Mermaid or Dick Tracy. But I mean, I think this film is better than Ninja Turtles 2. I really do. I gave that movie a 3.
Ninja Turtles 2 is a shameless cash grab.
Yeah.
I mean, at least with Watership Down, I mean, they were. I mean, again, I'm not exactly sure who it's for, but I mean, they have their themes in there, and they were laying down some harsh truths for whoever wanted to listen.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, you're right. They were making this for the art of the story, like for the storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't trying to make a buck on this. Whereas Ninja Turtles 2 was all they were trying to do was sell toys. So
yes.
Anyway, to give this a score, I'm going to give this a 6.5. Wow. I kind of like this movie. Am I going to watch it again? I don't know. Probably not. Do I want to go watch the series on Netflix? Yeah, I do. I kind of want to see the Netflix series. I mean, there's something interesting. There's something genuine about a story. It is very simple, but there's something genuine about a story that's that underdogs are fighting against oppression. I mean, these rabbits have to go free other rabbits from an oppressive society. Now, their motives are simply because they're horny and they need to bang somebody, but
isn't that every man's motive in the end?
I mean, more or less, yeah. But still, they do a thing, right? They do a thing that has not been done very often, where they risk their lives to go and save the lives of others for the benefit of freeing them. So that's
right.
There's something kind of nice about that, I guess.
Yeah, it's a classic sort of trope.
It is. It is. So good on the author for doing that. Just make the women do more things.
Right.
Okay, this is the part of the show where I tell you, Stephen, to tell my listeners where they can find you and your show.
All right. Every week on Sundays is on YouTube and Twitch. Or if you don't want to watch it live, you can check out the podcast. It's called Obscurity Now. Basically, we look at old and forgotten pieces of TV, movies, sometimes comics and video games, and then we decide if they should be remembered for the rest of human history or tossed into the black hole of obscurity. We've looked at such stuff as the David Hasselhoff Nick Fury movie. We recently did Mantis, which was a 90s superhero movie, the first black superhero movie on TV, like that we know of. Then it turned into a TV series and just other rant. And then coming up, we have Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Like if you have no idea about any of the stuff I just talked about, check out our catalog. I bet there's something in there that we talked about that you sort of remember. There's that. And I have many other podcasts that we link to from there that I've also worked on.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. I have to find a way to weasel myself on your show. That'd be great.
Yeah, we haven't done guests yet. We're getting to that. We're getting there though, for sure. And then of course, I'm all the Kickstarter for my comic book, Escape to Earth. It's going to be live May 1st. And if you like dinosaurs and high action, then it is the book for you. It's 32 pages, and we got some different tiers there. You can get a digital version, a print version, and I don't know if Sean's got the trailer. I don't know where he's going to insert it, but it should tell you everything you need to know about the plot.
Oh, okay. I'm going to insert it right where you want.
Right in your big mouth.
Actually, probably what I'll do is I'll probably insert it right now.
I'm having a weird day. The name's Adam. Where I'm from, I'm known as the Zero Thief. Depending on who you ask, some might say I'm the best thief. But believe it or not, even the best screws up every once in a while, and that's what I did, and I had to make a fast getaway. I ended up crash landing on this bizarre planet. Turns out, I didn't get away fast enough. These winged freaks followed me here.
It's just us here, Zero Thief, on this empty, backwoods planet. So start talking, either to me or my blade.
Okay, I do have something to tell you. It's about the planet. It's not that empty. Come on, man, I thought you were gonna duck. Cut me loose! Behind you! Whoa! Thought I was done for. It was gonna be a light snack for a snarling creature, but then she showed up, riding on the back of one of those monsters like it was nothing. and with a wave of her hand, the other razor-toothed beast just stomped away. I'd never seen anyone like her before in my life. I thought I'd say something clever. Thanks, have you seen my ship? She gave me a look that said more than words ever could, because I think she was trying to read my mind or something. And from there, things just got even weirder. Escape to Earth. 30 pages of insane dinosaur action that will leave you hungry for more. Issue 1, crowdfunding now. Written and created by Stephen Honeycutt. Art by Antonio Brandao. Colors by Bruno Furlani. Jump on now before the whole human race is extinct. Download the digital preview today.
There you go. How's that for editing? Okay. So
beautiful.
Yeah, and that way people have it fresh that you said it, and then there it is. So they can listen to it and do the things. And I might not even edit this stuff out because I am lazy. All right. That's our show. This has been a lot of fun. And I am so excited to have, again, thank you, Stephen, for jumping on. Again, I asked Stephen to join us like 48 hours ago or something like that. So
it's true.
Thanks again for jumping on the grenade on this one.
Yeah,
my pleasure.
Because when I said, hey, do you want to come on? And you're like, sure, what are we doing? It's this movie. He goes, that really depressing movie? Yes. Okay, sounds fun. So I think between this and the puppet movie, I think we're even.
All right. Well, I look forward to whatever it is we talk about next time.
Oh, it'll be
Plague Dogs.
Oh, gosh, no. It'll be something fun, and it has to be something fun or ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
my wheelhouse.
Speaking of ridiculous, that cop movie that you made us watch, with your actor friend guy.
We're not actually friends in real life.
I know. But
yeah, you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. It was Thunder Road.
Thunder Road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that actor, I follow him on Twitter. He's pretty funny on Twitter.
Yeah.
But we were watching that Halloween Kills movie, and he's in it.
Yep, he gets killed in the beginning.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that's him. That's the guy. I was like, that's the guy, because he doesn't have his mustache in the Halloween movie.
He always plays a cop for some reason. Although in his latest film, which is awesome, despite the fact that I can't remember the name, he doesn't play a cop for the first time. But it's so good. Jim Cummings is the actor's name.
Yeah.
And the name of the film, because I was actually gonna message you and ask if you wanted to discuss it, if you happen to have watched it. Since you're not chiming in, I assume you haven't watched it.
No.
It is called
Disfluency?
No.
That's a production. Sorry.
What the heck is that? Gosh. The Beta Test. That's what it's called. It's awesome.
Okay.
If you guys happen to watch it, need someone to chat about it, I am your Jim Cummings expert.
Beta Test. Yeah, it just came out. Let's see. An engaged Hollywood agent receives a mysterious letter for an anonymous sexual encounter and becomes ensnared in a sinister world of lying, infidelity, and digital data. Ooh. Cool. All right. Well, he directed this one too. This was another one of his.
Did.
He directed. Oh, and this one has a bunch of actors that actually have IMDb pictures. So that's good. I still haven't heard of any of these people, but that's all right. All right, cool. Well, there you go. Well, maybe we'll do that next time, or maybe we'll do 50 Goes West. Who knows? Not I. What I do know is that you need to go to our website, cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com. There you can check out links to all of our other stuff, and go to our T Public account where you can go buy a T-shirt or a coffee mug or something. Buy things from us so that
I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna. All right.
We have merchandise now. I don't have any I can show you on hand, but other than this, sticker that you. But we have merchandise, so go there, buy stuff from us. It helps me helps keep the lights on. That'd be really cool. Also, episode 400 is coming up. Big news coming up on that. I'll be posting something of that pretty soon. We're very excited. I'll give you a hint. It's not a normal episode of Cheap Seat Reviews. There will be nothing normal about it. I'm so excited to talk about it. I can't wait. Also,
it's going to be live streamed, and we're not going to be wearing any clothes.
Whoa.
One of those things is true.
Sexy.
One of those is not. Twitter is at CheapSeatCast. Yeah. The biggest thing you can do as a listener is to get involved. Talk to us. Let us know what movies you want us to watch. And also leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify. Those are the best ways to kind of help grow the show. Our numbers have been great thanks to you guys. You guys have been killing it. So I say thank you to you, the listeners, because without you, then we're talking to no one. And that would be kind of sad. So anyway, that's our show. So thank you all so much for listening. So on behalf of Sam, who wishes he could be here, but he can't, Andrew and Stephen, this is Sean saying thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for Oblivion.
This is Cheap Seat Reviews.